I've never understood why I have to pay more and more fees for each of my failed startup ideas when I have no users. And I know what you're going to say, just use serverless. But serverless is not what I want. I want the full flexibility of a dedicated machine or a Kubernetes cluster, at little to no cost with no users. For a while, I didn't think that this was possible, but I found a way to do it. And the answer's actually quite simple. Oracle's very generous free tier for their industry standard Kubernetes engine. Finding this perfect solution was by no means an easy journey. I started where every humble dev starts, Heroku. I only had one app at the start, and my only hosting requirements were that it was free. As a student, the student free tier plan worked perfectly for me. The troubles began when I left uni. I lost my free tier and I had to start paying the costs. I wanted to deploy a second application and started to think about whether Heroku was really the right option for me. The benefit of Heroku is that it's easy to set up, but I knew that pricing didn't scale too well, and I thought it might be time to look to the source. So I decided to switch to AWS and start learning about the platform. In the end, I settled on Elastic Beanstalk, attracted by the hassle-free deployments and the elastic scaling. I soon learned that the deployments were not exactly hassle-free, and I couldn't host multiple apps on one EC2 and one DB, meaning that I'd have to pay £5 for the EC2 and £5 for the DB for every application that I deploy. This seemed ridiculous to me, and I decided that the best way for me to manage multiple apps on one setup would be Kubernetes. I could start on a small machine and upgrade my nodes as my hosting requirements grow. I disregarded AWS for Kubernetes since it has expensive £80 per month control plane fees even before you've picked your machines. So I had a look at Google and Azure and planned to use a £30 per month setup on Azure using the minimal spec machines that I could find. It was more expensive than I had originally planned, but I decided that this would have to do. As I began to build it, I quickly realized that this dream could not become a reality. I found out that the machines I had picked were too small and did not meet Azure's minimum Kubernetes requirements, so I had to pick larger machines. In the end, it estimated at about £80 per month. With this, I realized that there is no setup suitable for an indie developer who is also thinking about future scalability. Fortunately, this just happened to align with Larry Ellison briefly surpassing Elon Musk as the world's richest man. I had not heard of Larry Ellison before, but I learned that this increase of wealth was due to a jump in Oracle's share price as they had announced a large backlog of clients waiting to be onboarded onto their cloud platform. Interested, I looked into Oracle's cloud offering, having not even considered them alongside the big three. This is where I struck gold. 4 OCPUs, 24 gigabytes of memory, and 200 gigabytes of storage, all for £0 a month. I was skeptical at first. I thought I might find a similar experience to Azure, where once I'd set it up, there would be a bunch of hidden costs. But now I have it set up and it's all there. It's all free, and I'm running my full indie platform on Oracle Cloud at no cost. Now, there is a catch, of course there is, but don't worry, it's not as big as you might think. Since Oracle is not quite as big as AWS, Azure, or Google, it doesn't quite have the same community backing. So you won't be able to find all these useful tutorials that you'd usually find on YouTube. The documentation is very rich, however, it can be quite confusing and it's a lot to break down. If you have any questions at all, feel free to leave them in the comments, and I plan to release a video taking you step by step on how you can set up your own Oracle Kubernetes cluster, including setting up all of those fiddly little network settings. Before I end this video, I just wanted to give you all a bit of advice. Oracle has a very strict reclaim policy on their resources if you are using less than 20% of their CPU, memory, or networking, which you very likely would if you have these idle apps that we've been speaking about. So this is for the always free plan. You can get around this if you upgrade to the pay-as-you-go plan. You won't be charged a penny. They will charge your card initially to verify that you are a real human and you're not taking advantage of their very generous free tier. So I would definitely recommend doing that. That's the way that I've gone, and as I said, literally perfect for my setup. So that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you'd like to see that setup video. Thank you very much. Until next time.